Well, hi everybody. Welcome back to Kitchen Chaos with Jackie. I'm Jackie, in case you didn't figure that out. So today we are just kind of futzing around in the kitchen. I'm prepping some stuff for the week. I made some broccoli cheese soup for the boys. It wasn't really low carb friendly, so I didn't show that. I also made some black bean soup, which again, not low carb friendly. So I didn't show it. So sorry. If you want to see it, you let me know. I mean, I'm more than happy to share the recipe for that. But what I do want to show you today is a cheese ball recipe. So it is the holidays, Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's, lots of food going around, lots of not really good low carb options that are out there. As a matter of fact, the office that I work in, the girls love chocolate, and patients are bringing candies in and cookies, and it's kind of difficult. I mean, I'm at a point now where it's not as tempting as it used to be, but I'm human, and I am not good with things like staring me in the face. That's why I don't keep any kind of garbage in the house. I just can't. I'm not good with temptation, and I know that about myself. So what I try to do to combat that is use alternatives. So one of the big things I do is I have a little stash of sugar-free chocolate that I keep at my desk. Matter of fact, hold on, let me grab the package for you. Okay, sorry about that. I forgot that I wanted to show you this. So this is one of my go-tos. This is Lily's. It's a chocolate bar. This is chocolate that is made with stevia. So that is a natural sweetener, comes from a plant. This is the best sugar-free chocolate I have ever found, and being a diabetic since I was 10 years old, and my mother trying to be nice and buy me sugar-free chocolate, I can tell you it tastes like, and it's also high in carbs. If you look at it, the carbs are almost the same as the regular sugar chocolate that you buy. So I learned a long time ago not to even bother with that. Not to mention the sweeteners that they use can really cause a lot of digestive upset. So this is one, I get this online at Amazon. Also, I have found it at the one grocery store, Martin's grocery store. That is where I got that one. That is the salted almond milk chocolate. The other one I really like is the salted caramel. Oh, it's delicious. So what I do, I mean, it still got some it still has some carbs. I think it's like 10 per bar. Okay, hold on, I'll look. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's see here. So the total carbs for half of the bar is 21 minus 11 grams of dietary fiber. So remember, the fiber keeps some of those carbs from absorbing into your body. So that's going to leave it at about 11 grams of carbs for half the bar. So it comes in like a Hershey bar. You know, one of those big Hershey bars that has the little squares. So what I do to limit myself, because it probably wouldn't be a good idea to eat the whole bar, and I try really hard not to do that, but I break it apart. So I opened that one up, I broke it into pieces of 2, so 2 little squares. I put that into a little container. I keep that at my desk. So when the temptation becomes almost overwhelming, where I really want some of that chocolate that the girls are having, I reach into my drawer and I grab that, and I just think, this is such a much better option. It tastes delicious. I'm really not missing out, and I know that my blood sugar is not going to spike. So that's just a little something for you. You know, please let me know if you've tried it, if you need any information, again, where to get it. It's about $5 or $6 a bar, I think, which may sound expensive, but honestly, if you go to the store and you look up those bars of chocolate that they have, especially this time of year, that's about what they run. So to me, it's worth spending an extra dollar or two to have something that is a much better option and much better for me, that is made with a natural sweetener. Okay, so that's all I have for that one. The other thing that I try to do is, thankfully I don't have a big sweet tooth, so it is helpful. But again, I try to keep some things nearby, so that instead of reaching for that chocolate covered pretzel, which I used to love, I'm going to go for like a piece of cheese or a piece of meat, like a beef stick or a turkey stick, something. I keep almonds, just salted roasted almonds in the desk. Again, I measure those out. I put them in a little half-cup container, so I know if I eat half of that container, I'm eating a quarter cup, and I stop at that, because again, you don't want to overdo anything. They still have some carbs. It can still like whack out your blood sugar. So what we're going to do today is something that I'm going to take into work. So my friend Tammy that I work with gave me a recipe for a dried beef cheese ball. So dried beef, I don't know if you're familiar with it. The only thing I ever used it with was my grandmother's scalloped potatoes. That was something she always used when she made scalloped potatoes, which I'm going to try doing with cauliflower for Christmas. So we're going to try to do that next weekend. We'll see how that goes. But usually comes in like a little jar, and it's just dried beef. It's very salty. So I actually couldn't find any in the store, in the jar, the store that I was in. But they did have it in the refrigerated section. It was in a little package. So we got that. So I have that. Cream cheese. Of course, I'm not going to follow the recipe completely that she gave me because I feel like I can do a little bit more zhuzhing up. So we're going to add some scallions to it, some seasoning. I might even add a little bit of shredded cheddar. I have to see if I have any in the fridge. I probably do. So that's what we're going to do today. I just wanted to show you a quick little thing that maybe you can take to your friend's house if they're having a party and you want something that you know that you're going to be able to eat and not feel left out, and share with others that they're also going to enjoy. And just, stay strong during the holidays. I mean, I'm not going to say you're not going to have a bite of this or that and, you fall off the wagon. And if you do, and if you fall off hard, don't beat yourself up too much. You know what? Get back on the horse and, carry on the next day. You didn't just ruin everything that you've been working hard for. And that is something that you have to learn. You can have a bad day. You can have a cheat day. You can eat something and you feel like poo and you're like, that's it. I'm a failure. I couldn't stick to my diet for even a day. You got to get rid of that mentality. You just have to keep going. Start each day fresh. That's what I do. Some days are not so good. I mean, I try not to go completely off the wagon, but there are times whenever, temptation just gets to be too much. But I own it. I admit to myself, I'm like, okay, I shouldn't have done that. I'm paying for it now, but it's okay. I'm not going to do it again, at least not for quite a while. Again, not perfect. All right, so are you guys ready? Let's go make this cheese ball. Here we go. All right, guys, so we have our cast of characters lined up here for our cheese ball. I have some shredded, mild, and sharp cheddar cheese that I did. I have that sliced dried beef that, again, I found that in the refrigerated section at the grocery store. 2 blocks of cream cheese, some Worcestershire sauce, I can't ever say that, some green onions or scallions, whatever you want to call them, cracked black pepper, and some garlic powder. So what we're going to do is start chopping up the scallions and the dried beef. It actually on the recipe says to put it into the food processor and chop it up. I'm going to try doing it with the knife and see how that works. And if it seems like it's too difficult, then I will throw that in the food processor. I just don't want to have to wash those dishes if I don't have to. So we're going to see how that goes. So I'm going to go get my bowl and then we're going to start getting this party started, okay? Okay, so I have the cream cheese in my bowl. I'm going to pop it in the microwave for about 30 seconds, but I wanted to show you how to cut the green onions or the scallions. So just in case you don't know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off that bottom part, the little root part. And then I'm going to peel the funky layer away. There's usually one little funky piece that is on there, so it's kind of like the outside of an onion whenever you slice an onion. So I'm just going to pull that off, and then you'll have like a little bit of slimy skin, I guess, that's on there. So I'm just going to peel that off of there, and then I'm going to rinse this, and then we'll chop it up. And then same thing with this one. So you can see I have a piece here that's a little bit wobbly. And we're just going to pull that. Now, if you have these beautiful green onions that don't have any of that funky stuff, hey, that's great. You don't have to do any of this except for cut off the end. But I find usually whenever I buy them, there's a couple of pieces that are like that. So I'm just, like I said, kind of peeling off that outer layer. Stringy. And then I'm going to pull off that, I guess, a membrane. Hey, there's a good word for it. That outer membrane to the scallion. Okay, so we're just going to rinse these, and then I'm going to chop up the white parts and the green parts to add to my cream cheese mixture. All right, so I I sliced my scallions. I just did them in a really thin slice, and then I ran my knife through them, kind of like so, just to break them up a little bit. So that was just 2 scallions. I think that'll be plenty. We don't want them to overtake the cream cheese flavor. I like using the scallions. They're a little bit more of a mild onion flavor, so you'll still get that onion without the sharpness. So now we're going to try to cut up our dried beef. And again, I wanted to show you this. So this is what it looks like when it comes out of the package. And the one that I get in the jar usually, and I think it's also by Hormel, which is what this one is, it's a little bit drier. This actually has a little bit of moisture to it, so that's nice. So I'm just going to keep the whole thing like that, and we're just kind of experimenting, like I said, with this. And I think I'm just going to try to do a really fine dice. Okay, I like the way that looks. The original cheese ball recipe that Tammy gave me, she said she adds some of the dried beef to the cheese ball, and then what you do is once you make the ball, you roll it into the dried beef. So I am not a big making the cheese ball into a ball because I'm not good at it. I can do it. It just is messy and time consuming. And why? Because I'm going to eat it. Now if I was taking this to a friend's house or something and I was presenting it to people, then I would probably take that extra effort and make it into a cheese ball. And I might do that. I don't know. Let's see where the day takes us. But for right now, since I am going to be taking some of this to work so they can try it, but then I'll also just be using it as part of my lunch. I'm going to take a little bit of soup, and then I'll have some of the cheese ball and probably some seed crackers on the side just to have for a quick little lunch at work. And this is part of like how I prep stuff for work too for the week. So just a little thing there. And like I said, again, because I'm not going to probably roll it, I'm just going to leave it like this. I think that looks pretty good. It's a nice fine little dice, so you'll get like a little piece of dried beef in each bite. I mean, how exciting does that sound? All right, so yeah, okay, I think I'm just going to go ahead and cut the rest of it up, and we're going to do that. I'm going to pop the cream cheese into the microwave for 30 seconds. We're going to start combining everything, and we'll taste it and see how it turns out. All right, so our cream cheese is slightly smushy. I actually put it in for about 45 seconds. After about 20 seconds, I kind of stirred it around to see how it felt, and then did that after like another 10 seconds, and then I put in for another 15. So this is perfect. It's good to work with, and we'll be able to get everything nice and combined. All right, so we're going to start adding our stuff. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add those scallions in and try not to get them all over the floor. And then we're going to go in with our dried beef. And I just went ahead, I'm just adding the whole package. That's how I feel today, so that's what we're doing. And then we're going to go in with our cheddar cheese. So there's not a whole lot. I mean, I would probably say that's maybe a cup of cheese. So I'm just going to dump that in there. And then we're going to give that a good zhuzh around. And you know what it reminds me of? A loaded baked potato. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I think this is going to be delicious. So, like I said, that dried beef is really salty, so we're not going to add any salt to this. Plus, I'm going to add just a couple of drops of Worcestershire sauce, Worcestershire, something like that. And I'm only doing that. I wouldn't have thought to do that myself because I just wouldn't have, but that's what the recipe called for that she gave me. So we're going to just throw, like I said, a couple little dabs. This is also really salty. I'm thinking it's going to punch up the beef flavor. So just a few little dribbles of that. And then I'm going to throw some cracked black pepper in here because you know how much I like pepper. And I just think that that'll go well with everything else. And again, we don't want to overwhelm the cream cheesy goodness of this dish. So we're not adding a bunch of spices. I feel like just a few things to help elevate it. And then because you can't go wrong with a little bit of garlic, we're just going to go in with some garlic powder. And then we're going to give this another stir, and then I'm going to taste it. And we'll see how it is. That was barely even a sprinkle. And you see how much easier it is to mix this when you melt it a little bit. I let it sit on the counter probably for about half an hour or so while I was getting things together. But it doesn't soften it enough for me to work with it to make any of my cream cheese mixtures that I do. So that's always the trick that I found, was just popping it in the microwave until it's soft enough to work with. And I think we are nice and incorporated with that. It really does. Oh man, that makes me want a potato. Okay. We're not going to even go there because this is just going to be delicious on its own, right? All right, so we're going to go in, we're going to give it a little taste, we're going to see how our seasonings are. Oh. Wow. Guys, that's really good. Oh, that's delicious. You get a little bit of the crunch from the onion. You get that little bit of salty beef, but it's not super dry. I'm really glad I found that one in the refrigerated section. I would highly recommend using it. Yeah, it definitely doesn't need any salt. I'm not even going to add any other pepper or garlic to it. I'm just going to try to put this into a pretty little presentation to take to work. Let's see. So how are we going to do that? I don't know. How about if we use a bowl of some sort? I found a little bowl, so I'm going to try to use my spatula to maybe just kind of form it into a little bit of a ball shape. Oh, I know. See, this is where my, I just don't want to have cream cheese all over my fingers, because then I'll lick it all off. So, if you're a little bit lazy like me, there you go. This is the easy way to do it. Otherwise, again, please feel free to form it into a nice, pretty little presentation. So we're just gonna put that in there. Oh my goodness gracious, they're gonna laugh at me. It'll be okay. All right, so it's in a ball shape, right? You can still like take a little knife to it once it hardens up and take a little slice off. All right. Again, if you want to make this prettier to take to company or something, I think that rolling it, if you would have put the chipped beef in the food processor and made it really fine, almost like a dust, and then rolled that in it, it would be beautiful. So this is what I have. Like I said, this is what I'm going to take to work for everybody to try so they can try it. And I'm going to divvy up the rest of this into some containers for work. Now, I don't take a whole lot of this with me. I mean, probably a couple of tablespoons, and usually that, like I said, with some seed crackers and a little bit of soup on the side, will fill me up for lunch. So there is your cheese ball recipe. Okay, so feel free to take that to your party and amaze all your friends. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a beautiful day, and make a cheese ball.